I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
This is a Vin and Sori exclusive, losers. We are on maternity leave.
I was like, we jumped off the maternity leave temporarily.
Temporarily, because this is a very special occasion. The great Xenor and the great Lindsay Schoolcraft have joined forces and created a band called Antiqua. There are other people in the band, which I'm sure Lindsay and Zen will let us know about. We actually have an exclusive interview with them, which you're going to see after this video gets released, I believe, inshallah. We've got to figure that out with... But Lindsay is one of the earliest friends of the band, and...
Look, you can't get us off maternity leave unless you're really something special.
Correct.
Last time... Head from Corn got us off maternity leave.
Correct.
And this time, it's Lindsay.
And it's Lindsay and Zen from the band Antiqua. Lindsay is already an established artist on her own right. Made a bunch of records, and then Cradle of Filth was blessed to have her. Now she's off doing her. I mean, she's just artist putting out work.
Yeah. Vin's been watching Neo like non-stop.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love with the Citadel record. It's a 16-minute song, but it's a very intricate song. Lyrically, it's crazy. So Now the Scars is actually my favorite band right now.
First of all, it's very versatile for you, I've noticed.
Right.
You can be like completely chilled out in bed where you almost look like you're ready to fall asleep, or you can be like up with your guitar. Like there's so many different things that I see you doing. So
true. It's very true.
Versatile.
Yeah, it's because one of us, we have a song that we have to publish soon.
Here comes the insults.
Okay, you guys don't want to hear about our whack-ass band where we can't get our star singer to do stuff with. Here is Antiqua, first single, Funeral Crown exclusive from Vin and Sori. Let's do it. I'm very excited to hear and see this ish. Ready?
Yeah.
Titan Forge.
That's what you always do. Make it big. Full screen it.
Sounds Latin, Romanian. That's peace. Pacha. Like Deodola Novus Pacha. Fear.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Wow.
Oh shit, that was a white serpent, literally.
Wow.
Holy moly.
That is a piece of work.
That is gonna be a very good record. So, as a spoiler, I bought the super duper deluxe issue, whatever, and somebody's gonna win it. So I'm not even gonna be able to open it. That thing with the armor with the snakes running through it. So that's a flag that we're actually gonna have over there. I'm like, Lindsay,
you're asking about the flag.
Yes.
That is a really cool flag.
I'm actually literally talking to her right now. I'm like, Lindsay, I need the lyrics. Problem.
I know. We're heavily lyrically inclined. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna pull up the lyrics as we're talking about that.
Yeah.
So first of all, I loved the visual of that, the two white snakes and stuff. That was pretty cool.
And we've gotta figure out whoever did their lyric video, because they were able to put stuff under the lyrics. So you had the main lyrics and then you had the other thing. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes it was translating the Latin, sometimes it was saying other things. Mm-hmm. Did you catch that? Which I thought that was really interesting because we've got some Latin in our thingamajiggy that yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the lyrics. I have the hookup. Too bad you don't know any famous people.
Bitches.
Bitches. All right. So I've got the lyrics here.
It's really tiny.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. What were we saying?
I don't remember. I got excited with the lyrics. Let's get into them.
Yeah. So it starts off with either Latin or Romanian. I don't know. I'm gonna try to loosely translate this, but I'm gonna do terrible.
Babe, you don't know where my water went, right?
No. You'll just have to fend for yourself.
Okay.
So Morti, I'm assuming is death. Like Mortis or whatever. Al Providence, which would be God's providence, I'm assuming. Then it says Infratiti su Pacia. Pacia is peace. So I'm assuming
it reminds me of
Infratiti means like inferno, fire, something.
What does Pope mean?
Pope? P-O-P-E?
Yeah. When they say Padre.
Padre is Peter, right?
I don't know. It just reminded me of that when you said that word.
Padre, I'm pretty sure is Peter. I'm not sure. Yeah, so something about God's providence and inferno, fire, and peace. There we go. So there you go. That's the best that I could do with this translation.
Thank you. I feel very enlightened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it talks about sulfari right there. Undas.
Yes, but in between, white serpent lies. We
see, look. See right there, sanguilici or whatever. That looks like that's probably blood.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
so that's probably blood. Al sulfar. So blood and sulfur. Blood and fire. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's the best I could do. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I just was saying, white serpent lies. We hail misery.
Right. Hearts impaled beyond.
What is this white serpent?
I'm not sure. I have a theory, but I'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
That thing of the 3 people being impaled, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it really was.
And it was, obviously as a Christian, I'm like, oh, the second guy, that's the guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's got to be an illusion. Why'd you choose 3 people?
Right.
Huh? Then, I was watching a old interview. He hangs out in churches and stuff. I think he likes
cemeteries. He goes back and
churches and stuff. Seduct.
Yeah.
Right. And some people would say they're the same thing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, you have to actually be in the Christian subculture to get that joke.
Yeah, you would.
Dead churches, basically.
So you don't know. So you're going to talk about the white.
I have
white
a
serpent later.
theory as to what the white, because I think it's white stands for purity.
Yeah.
But then it's a serpent, so something that is perceived as being pure, but really is deceptive and bad.
I kind of thought that was where it was going when it talked about the sun through the stained glass.
Yeah.
But anyway, carry on. Hearts
impaled beyond wet golden spears. So when you're talking about wedding, you're ready to go to war,
Yep.
So we've got Vanguard, these velvet voices as waterfalls to baptize the innocent. So the voices, the velvet voices, are waterfalls that baptize the innocent who are immersed in the blood of the future behind a stained glass sun. So it's very, very descriptive.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Very graphic.
I just hear behind the green glass doors there's a...
Yeah. Well, to me, and obviously it's because I'm a Christian, but he did make the stained glass thing. It might be about religion deluding everybody into having faith and hope.
What does Vanguard
It's
mean?
all a horrible lie. Because the reason, I'm going to answer you, but the reason I think that is because he says something at the end that was, time lost, graceless, gazing at hallowed voice, haunted by faith, golden eyes, and a dream of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yep. So that's why, he's saying time lost. And I've got the official lyrics directly from Zen and Lindsay, so those commas are important, because if it was time lost as in together, that means he lost time.
Yeah.
But he's saying time lost, graceless, gazing at hallowed voids, haunted by faith, golden eyes, and a dream of peace. I think Zen probably wrote this when he was in some church.
You're probably right.
Or like the inspiration.
Look at that part. I don't know I don't know what this word means.
Somnambulist. When will you wake?
When will you wake? When? When will you see? When? When will you believe? When? And then it says, "Wake with me in death."
Yeah.
Maybe because the idea of if they are all lying, you're really gonna wake up when you die because you're gonna actually see the truth for what it is.
Right. It's Zen always like wrestles with nihilism a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I agree. That's what it.
Devour me, Colossus. And, he's like striving that he's like. When it says golden eyes, right, up there, haunted by faith, golden eyes, and a dream of peace, I can imagine him being in one of these churches and like looking at the crucifixes with Jesus, and sometimes they're gold or they're bronze, so he's looking, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I was trying to figure out where the golden eyes is coming from. I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing stuff, but if they're covered in gold.
Graceless, gazing at hallowed voids, which I'm taking that to be his eyes, right? So hallowed voids in the first line, and then golden eyes in the second line, and then dream of peace, which religion does, right? Like it gives you this understanding of peace. Come forth, immolation, godless and anti-flesh, blooming this human torch, true enlightenment. Holy moly! I like that because of the play on words, right? So self-immolation, like a lot of times, those people that set themselves on fire, like the Buddhist guy, because they went free Tibet. They set, the guy set himself on fire and he's like making a point. That's self-immolation. So
did he die?
Yeah, he died. Like he burned himself to death.
Why? What?
Well,
Why
he's making a political statement because I think the Chinese had taken over Tibet. They exiled the Dalai Lama. So this monk basically sets himself on fire right in the middle of the street. Yeah. I think Rage Against the Machine actually used that as like an album cover. Like it was a very iconic. It was very, very iconic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So when he talks about immolation,
well, when you think back, wasn't it like Tetzel or something like that when he was going around for the church? He would do things like that, like light his hand, or I don't know, or put his hand over the flames.
Yeah, that was a big
kind of like
it's a big Catholic tradition of like doing harm to yourself, painting yourself to atone for your own sins, and so but like
that's not what he was.
Self-immolation is a very specific.
No, he wasn't doing it for to pay for his sins. He was doing it so that way he could like make the point about like if you feel this, like everybody's burned themselves, like you could be in eternal torment if you don't.
Well, the big thing with Tetzel was purgatory, right?
Yeah, right.
So it was like as soon as a coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs. Right. So it's like, Aunt Susie, like put your hand over the flame. Aunt Susie, she's in purgatory. Don't you want to donate to this thing so you can get a plenary indulgence and get her out of there? But when he specifically mentions immolation, that's a very specific thing. Like that's what brings to my mind that Buddhist monk. Like, and if you look at the rest of what he's saying lyrically here, godless in anti-flesh, which fired, is anti-flesh, right? And
wait, pause. Did his action bring about any change?
No, because the Dalai Lama is still exiled, but it definitely like put the struggle up in clear relief. Of course, that's a separate discussion I'll have to have with Peter as Buddhist, because it's like you're not supposed to have any desire, so why would you do that? Right. Who cares if the Chinese? But I'm sure there's some way to reconcile that. But anyway,
sorry.
But so when he says, "Come forth, immolation, godless in anti-flesh," right? Blooming this human torch, true enlightenment. Get it?
Oh my gosh.
Get it? True enlightenment,
wow.
human torch, immolation.
Yeah.
Zen. He's smart, bro. Like, he's a smart dude.
So when he talks about blooming this human torch, blooming, it's like getting bigger.
Right,
and
it's
so,
flowering, right.
Yeah, and so that's what's happening when the flames are consuming.
And he's right. He's
and bringing
used,
about true enlightenment because death is coming.
Well, yes, but then you're also light. You're like literally.
Oh, I know. It's a double.
Lit up. It's a
I
double
know.
line. It's
Yeah.
very, very good. All I got for 12
Oh,
is.
so scary.
All I got for 12 is a shotgun.
Tom Brady.
You guys can decipher that yourselves, huh? I'm really a genius. Yeah, so, and if you see right there, you got these people on the stakes or whatever, and there's fire in the background. So, like, you kind of have a visual sort of precursor of what he was actually going to say. But that is a crazy, crazy stanza right there.
Yeah.
Because and it's, I think, like I said, like in the video, I feel like they were translating some of the lyrics. Like, some of the Latin or the Romanian, whatever it is, I feel like it was like, yeah, I feel like they were translating some of the lyrics here. Let me see. That's my favorite part of the song. The Sea of the Moribund kind of sounds like existence in this world, I think, is like the Sea of the Moribund. Like, it's just, ugh. You know what I mean? So, so then it says, I gotta find this. Somnambulist. What is that? It looks like moving flesh, maybe? Because soma means...
I don't know what is wrong with my head, but when I see words that I don't know what they mean, like, my mind just, like, translates it for me.
Sleepwalking.
And that translated to be so much bullshit.
Sleepwalking. That's a...
If you look at the way it's spelled.
Sleepwalking.
It means sleepwalking?
Yeah, so ambulance means you're moving, right? Is this guy ambulatory? And then somna would be sleep. So it's sleepwalking. Which again goes to your thing about when do you wake up, yada yada yada. Which is a really interesting, because one of my favorite passages in the Bible is "Arise, O sleeper," and Christ will shine on you. Right? That's like one of my. It's in Ephesians 5 or 6, I think. I'm not sure. So look, it says, "Somnambulist, walk with me." So that's really cool. Sleepwalker, walk with me through the sea of the moribund, dragging long shadows forward and beyond, and into the nothingness. For we are unworthy of flesh. We are the fall.
Wow.
So. It's dealing with, you know, how do you value yourself as a human being if you were nothing before this started, and you're going to be nothing when this is all over. So then how can you be worthy of flesh? So you could look at it from a nihilistic perspective and say, why is it even worth it to have you here? If you started as nothing, you're going to end in nothing. Or you can look at it from a Christian perspective, which is very interesting, because to me, the doctrine of original sin is a completely comforting doctrine. But for other people, and the way that it's been used against them, it's you're not worthy of even being alive anymore because you're a fallen creature, which is right there. We are unworthy of flesh, we are the fall, which then goes into the whole immolation thing, yada, 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 you know, type of situation. And then it says, again, when will you wake? When will you see? When will you believe? Wake with me in death, which is really interesting because Lamb of God has a song, Walk With Me in Hell, right? But this is, she or he's, I think this is when Lindsay's singing. They're saying, wake with me in death. So the people alive are sleepwalking. The people alive with all these delusions that maybe their life has meaning, or maybe that their afterlife will have meaning, they're deluded. Well, all of us are deluded. Maybe the serpent is this idea that you can have some value or life after death or something like that. Like, if I like embrace complete and total nihilism, then I would look at the serpent thing as maybe some cruel joke. Like religion itself would be a cruel joke.
Absolutely.
And then it says, you know, baptizing the innocent. If you go up, these velvet voices as waterfalls to baptize the innocent, immersed in the blood of the future, behind the stained glass sun. Which biblically, like there's some things that you just grow up with as a Christian, and you don't really washed in the blood of the Lamb is a pretty graphic.
Yeah, it's completely.
But every single time I would read that in the text, the picture I had in my mind was these clean white robes.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like, it's meant to be ironic, but you miss it if you've grown up in Christian culture.
No, you're completely 1,000%.
You're washed in blood. Like, that's a horrifyingly terrible sight. Like,
well, we used to say you're covered in the blood.
Right. That's a big thing.
You're covered in the blood.
Yeah, that's what my mom
And I remember the first time. Yeah, it was just like normal language in our home or in around the people that we hung around with. You were just covered in the blood. That just meant your sins were forgiven and that Jesus died for you and you were good to go. And like you said, the white robes
and
thing.
God, and God will protect you.
Yeah, God will protect you.
So like I was coming back from Disney World or something. Something in Florida, and like our bus, like it didn't crash, but malfunction happened. So I got home like 7-8 hours after I was supposed to, and my mom was like, she saw me pulling onto the driveway. She's like, "Of course, man. Basically, she said, "I was never afraid you're covered in blood. Nothing's gonna happen to my kid."
Yeah.
All you other pagan kids.
See, I don't think we used it as a safety thing. I'm not sure it went that way. But the first time that someone was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, it's true. It sounds really like creepy.
Yeah. So if you're in a Catholic church, right, or any high church type of thing, you're baptizing babies. Mm-hmm. And he says, these voices are waterfalls to baptize the innocent, because it's like you're imposing this lying religion on these kids, and they're immersed in the blood of the future, like the world that you're, when you're really baptizing them, you're really going to be baptized in blood. Either A, because of what religion has done to people all over the planet, or just the fact that human beings we're a bloody, violent species. Mm-hmm. Like there's never been a day on this planet where there hasn't been some sort of bloodshed happening in the world. So it's kind of like a wake up to the fact that life is horrible and things of that nature. But
you still haven't told me what Vanguard.
Blind, weep, wilting, broken, and faithless. Let us rise again. Let us rise lifeless.
Well, there was a little bit like, let us rise again, let us rise lifeless. It's weird because he's talking about rise again, which would make you think about like resurrection.
Right.
But then he says lifeless, and also at the end...
Whoa. What is baptism supposed to signify?
Resurrection.
Right? Is it death, you dying with Christ, and then you're risen from the dead is the resurrection. And I think in some liturgies they say let us rise or something like that, like when people were baptized or whatever. So, but he's saying, let us rise again, lifeless. Yeah. Because, like, now you've completely sold yourself off to this religion, and it's all BS. It's a white serpent. So now you're truly dead.
Wow.
So, like, the person that in the universe of this song, it looks to me like the person who understands the truth that life is meaningless is really living, and the person who accepts the religious bullshit is really dying or sleepwalking. And so then there's maybe it's the battle within himself. Maybe Lindsay's voice is sort of one. And of course I would flip it and say, no, the white serpent is nihilism. Right? Because it still kind of has a sort of attractive, hey, it's not pretty, but at least it's a truth. Which is sort of attractive or pure, right? Like this is a pure, true reality, right? And the religion stuff is bullshit. But I would say that is the serpent. Then you know what I mean? Like, then on the other side, so it could work both ways, and that's a crazy thing about the song. It's almost like palindromic in the sense that you could read it frontwards or backwards and come to a different conclusion based on how you've experienced reality.
It's true.
It's very, very interesting. But the thing is, like, for me, I can completely get it. Like, if I did not have the experiences that I've had, like, it's like just what we just talked about, like, washed in the blood or whatever. Like, somebody, like, outside is like, yo, these people are crazy. Like, Matt Chandler one time, like, did this whole thing on he's like, yeah, you know, our first parents were in this garden, and one of them was made from a rib, and there was a talking snake. Somebody ate a fruit, and everybody gets a death penalty for what one person did. God went around and killed everybody in the flood, but then he wouldn't do it again. And then, you know, we killed a bunch of animals. Gallons and gallons of blood were shed to forgive them for their sins. But then God said he didn't like that. And then he sent his son, and then his son came down, lived a perfect life, and he spilled gallons and gallons of blood.
We killed him too.
And we killed him too, and then he rose from dead, and he left on a cloud, and he's coming back. Do you want to come? It's like
join us.
It's like his channel. I saw him live. Chandler. He's an experience.
Was he being serious?
What?
Or was he doing?
No, he was saying like our faith is strange. Like some of you, it was in a southern state, so it's like some of you've grown up with this stuff, so you think it's completely, you know, whatever. But he came to faith at like 19, 20. So he was like, "What are you guys? This is nonsense. This is insane," you know. And of course, you know. And I believe all of it. So, but like, so I understand, like, we're like, if I didn't, but I'm the type of person where I would have had to have some no doubter experiences to hold on to believing this stuff.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's, people always ask me, like, when you faith or struggling with faith or whatever, and you know, like, if I see a starving person, like, does that make you question God? It really doesn't. Because I locate a lot of that in our own selfishness. Like if we see somebody starving, then you take care of them. God's told us to do that. That doesn't really. But the things that do question my faith are like, or when I'm like, yo, why are you like that to God? Is like people who, in my view, would have a different perspective on God if they would have had half the experiences with God that I did. And it wasn't like I was cultivating my relationship. My first experience was fairly young, and I was not cultivating anything. I honestly didn't know anything. I was way too young, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I had other people that didn't have religious parenting, you know, and boom, they have this crazy, undeniable experience with God. But then there are other people who don't have those undeniable experiences with God, who show up and, you know, go places and everything, and they're kind of trying in their own way, and it hasn't happened to them in that like raw, undeniable, I have no way of explaining this.
I think
otherwise. It's
like there are some people that'll say, you know, like, I'm open to it.
Right.
You know, if it's there, like, I'm open to it. And then there's other people that there's a sort of desperation that you see in their eyes and in their voice and as they're talking about it, where they want so desperately to be able to cling on to something that doesn't move, but it doesn't come for them. And those are the situations, I agree, that are the most difficult to, like...
It's very hard for me.
Yeah, then it's like, well, what?
But then we had somebody on the channel like that. We did a guest thing with them one time, and they were going through that. And then something ridiculous happened for that person, like insane, that it's kind of like, okay, like, here you go. And like, you can see, you know, just shifting perspectives on things because of this situation in her life that was that God almost hid from her because she would have lost the blessing, you know, other just crazy situation. So like it, you know, so we're talking about blind, weep, wilting, broken, and faithless, and swathed in dawn, lightless orbs glancing of loss. Again, this to me looks like a statue of Jesus or something. And swathed in dawn, like maybe one of these, maybe he was in like Italy or something and saw like the, you know, St. Peter's Basilica or whatever, all these like painted, you know, deified things or whatever. On open mouths, look at this. Glancing of loss on open mouths, calloused and blessed. Like, so the calloused, like, you know, like that you know how like he talks about like a person's a callous person, like kind of cold. Yeah. You know, kind of like you've been through a couple things, so now you're unfeeling to things that you should be more feeling about. And then it says, but you're blessed, flaming tongues, all their cold kisses absorbed by the cascades of fire. SubhanAllah. It's really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. And again, like, fire is being used in an interesting way here, because fire in a religious context is usually, you know, the vision of hell, right? Like hell, the bad place, whatever. And here, these flaming tongues, which is again another. This song I could talk about for 19 hours. Flaming tongues is a very specific thing in Christianity, and maybe we'll put the thing up there. But at Pentecost, Acts chapter 2, the first Christians are up there in the upper room, and Jesus left them. He ascended off in the Shekinah the cloud, right? He left them.
He told them to go over there and wait because he was going to send something to them.
He's going to send them power from on high.
Yep.
So they're in the room praying, and then as they're praying, that was a really cool scene in AD.
It really was.
So there's a show called AD, and it was about the first Christians. It's only one season, but it was amazing.
It was really good. It's worth taking the time to watch it.
Yeah, they start praying, and then the Bible describes it as tongues of fire were like above everybody, and you see paintings and murals of this where you'll see them being in a praying posture, and there's tongues of fire, and that was when the church went public. That was a symbol that they had been empowered by God's Spirit, because what a lot of people don't know about the metaphor of fire, before fire was associated with hell in the Bible, fire was initially associated actually with God's presence. So
purification.
So hell being connected to fire was much, 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 much later. I'm talking about hundreds of years later. The original metaphor of fire was God's presence, hence the burning bush, right? So if the fire was above them, it meant that God was empowering them and that they were burnt. And to this day, people say so and so's on fire for God. So open mouths, calloused and blessed, flaming tongues, all their cold kisses absorbed by the cascades of fire. It's just really interesting when he talks about flaming tongues, because that's what that's what a lot of the imagery and things like that about the day of Pentecost was. Is it you've got the divided tongues of fire. I'm gonna have the pictures and all that jazz ready, so people can look at it. But it looks like he's saying, like, this whole section of me, though, to me it looks like a priest who's like disillusioned with the whole thing. So like, that's a picture I got, was just like this priest who's disillusioned. He's opening his mouth, he's saying all the stuff, he's going through the motions, but his tongue is calloused because he doesn't really believe any of this stuff anymore because he's disillusioned. And then, but at the same time, he's blessed because he's giving off all the the blessings to everybody. All their cold kisses absorbed by the cascades of fire, which I think would be, well, if their religion is true, the irony is that they're going to end up in fire because they don't really believe any of this stuff.
All there. Who's the there in cold kisses?
Well, again, I'm interpreting that as like priests, right? So that's how I would take it. Like, what I got from this was just a priest who's just completely disillusioned with this religion stuff. So there it is, right there. See the tongues of fire. And so that's what I think. Wading through black bile. Dead dreams parted by gliding fingers, pouring onto themselves of the old unknown. Cold craving, and then it's sleep. So, there you go. Holy moly.
So there was a part where, when he talks about being alone, where is it?
I just said it. It's at the very, very end.
Yeah, right there. Okay.
Alone in the silence, alone, we're free.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting because it was alone, which means you're alone. Alone in silence, alone. That all makes sense. But then it says, we are free.
Yeah, I just think that's probably like a rhetorical, like humanity. Like, you're not really free until you're alone and you deal with the fact that, none of this stuff is like what they're saying. Although, for a person like me who loves being alone, I
wouldn't want to be alone indefinitely.
No, I don't like being alone indefinitely. We were looking at a house, and I'm like, oh, great, this is great. I could be in this massive closet, but still be cut off from the world and have my music, which is very important to me. I would move all my shit in there, like my guitar, all my stuff, all my recording stuff, and all that. And
just put it on your half of the closet so I can still have mine?
I would just take over that whole closet.
Yeah, that's just rude, honestly.
That's a lot of square feet, it not help.
Well...
But anyway, I cannot wait to talk to Zen about the song because there's a lot here. And this doesn't look like Latin to me though. It's probably a Western European language that's based in Latin, like a lot of languages are. You know what I'm saying?
Could be. I wouldn't know.
There's some
who
Arabic.
did the vocals?
There's some Arabic words.
I mean, obviously Lindsay.
Well, Zen and
wasn't
Lindsay,
there.
yeah, I think.
Zen did all that?
Yeah, Zen was doing the raw.
No, yeah, but there was also some.
Yeah, I think there's like 7 or 8 people in the band. Like, no disrespect to the band. Like, you guys are gonna get all your credit. Believe you me. I just don't know who you are. But I will soon, inshallah. But
Lindsay's part was so pretty. It had like that eerie sort of chanting sort of.
Like, ever since, you think about a girl in a band, I'm always like, how do you combine that? Like Nightwish, for example, like, it's featuring just that vocal. Like, how to blend the energies of men and women, and then just the it's very, very hard to balance those two. And they did a damn good job with it.
Yeah, it was flawless, I thought.
Yeah, it was very refreshing because it was like, oh, I'm in this drudgery, and then boom, you get the beauty of Lindsay's voice, and then like you're like, oh, okay, this is too sweet, I'm getting a cavity. Boom, back to the drudgery, into the dirt. I loved it. It's very, very good.
Yep, and they balanced it very, very well.
So Zen is dirt and Lindsay is sugar. So
dirt and sugar?
Put the dirt and sugar together. Ha-ha! Genius. Really, really, really good song. I love the video. I cannot wait to have... I'm just going to have this in the back perpetually. That is such a good, like...
Oh, the flag.
That little flag, yeah. The only time I'll move it is when we move and I get that closet. I'm really going to, like, create a very dark shrine.
He's really taking in the walk-in closet.
Oh, no, I'm really, really going to do it.
Whoa.
I mean, you can have your clothes there. It's a pretty decent sized closet.
That all depends. Are you going to be burning sage in there?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want my clothes smelling like that.
I'm going to put a black curtain that divides my side of the closet, your side of the closet. I'm going to have all my shit there.
No, honestly,
but then I'm going to have that flag.
Yeah. If we get that house that we were looking at, I think that there's ways that you could just have the whole closet.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll burn my sage.
A walk-in closet sounded very exciting to me, but I can let you have that. I think it would do you well.
Yeah, it would do me.
And I don't want my clothes smelling like
Alone
sage.
in silence, we're free.
You're rude.
Very good song.
Anyway,
we've got an interview with
so be on the lookout for that.
I was gonna say Zenzi. Zenzi?
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Why not?
No. Zen is his own man. Lindsay's her own. What the hell's wrong?
Well, that's what the kids always do whenever something works really well together. They always.
Oh yeah, they try to ship it.
Yeah.
All right, good song, good song. The rest of you people who don't have cool friends, you guys will get the song later when it comes. Well, I think this is actually the day of the debut. So
yes, they're getting it right now. Way to insult our constituency.
Also, we're gonna be giving away the deluxe edition of this. This thing is like a collector's item level thingamajig.
And be on the lookout because I might give away his flag.
That's not gonna happen. There is literally no amount of money because that fits so perfectly there, and it fits in my little sanctuary. So don't even joke to the people about that. They'll be all disappointed. They won't believe in God anymore.
Well, what if I did it? Then what would you do?
We would have the Vin and Vin channel.
This is your subscription.
I know. Where's that pretty Caucasian lady?
Depends on the day.
This is a 9.8 for me. I truly love the song. Truly love the song.
It's a 9.9 for me.
Good song. Good song. Love the heavy. Really, I could go on forever, but I'm not going to. There you are. Interview coming soon. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. 5 p.m. EST. Today, I'm pretty sure, inshallah. 5 p.m. EST. Depends on what Zen says. He hasn't responded to me yet. All right. What are we doing?
That's it.